Hi, Garrett Bloom here, once again looking at the tyranny and the delusions of the social justice movement. So the Supreme Court of Connecticut has ruled strongly against the kangaroo court that Yale was operating to investigate allegations of sexual assault. Sexual assaults happen. They're awful. They're extremely emotionally, psychologically damaging, but they need to be properly and thoroughly investigated. In the United States, you have an absolute presumption of innocence, and you have a right to mount a defense. In this case, it is shocking. It is shocking. This young man was not allowed to know the evidence that was being held against him. This makes it utterly impossible to mount a defense. He was denied the ability to provide evidence to this kangaroo court, DNA evidence, video footage, messaging logs, or message records, denied that opportunity. So basically, the accused got to provide this tribunal evidence, and this young man was unable to speak against the accuser, provide evidence, his own evidence, to rebut whatever allegations he believes he's being charged with here. He was denied the basic right to speak to his accuser. And I get it, I get it. This would be awfully, damaging and difficult if you've been sexually assaulted or raped by someone, to face them in court, to have them speak to you. I get it. But this is a basic right. Justice demands this right. I was a sexual assault investigator, I was a criminal investigator in the Canadian Armed Forces. And I can tell you, allegations of date rape, extremely, extremely difficult. And it means that oftentimes the guilty party gets away. But it does no service to justice to convict innocent people. And though this wasn't a criminal case, the tribunal, the stakes can be extremely high. Men have killed themselves in the wake of these false allegations. Now, let's explore this issue of campus rapes. You have young women now, 2 or 3 weeks later, after an event, bringing forward allegations of sexual assault. And typically this involves, several discussions with their friends. And I think that, that frat party and afterwards, and I think that was sex. And, I was drinking, took advantage of me. All too often, this is how things shake out. Young man, young woman, they meet each other at a frat party. Yes, alcohol is involved. And this young man sees this young woman. He's lit up like a Christmas tree. She is attractive. He starts chatting her up. Oh, she's interesting and she's compelling. And she finds his interest in her also compelling. So mutually compelling interest here. And then they retire to one of their respective bedrooms. And after him explaining how into her he is, they have sex. And guess what? The next morning, a couple of days later, he realizes she's not all that unique and special after all. Or he remembers, suddenly, he actually has a girlfriend. No, this isn't rape. This is, self-deception is a well-understood psychological phenomenon. Men lie to themselves to lie convincingly to women. And I know this happens in other contexts as well, but in the mating arena, this happens all the time. This young man is convinced that this woman is outstanding, compelling, and interesting, so is better to convince her, because we're also evolved to have these built-in lie detector tests. And it's an arms race. This lying, manipulation, the radar detecting lies and manipulation. So at any rate, I get it. This young woman, 2 or 3 days later, after this young man has ghosted her, she feels used. She feels exploited. And, I feel sorry for her. But this is the damaging consequences of sleeping with somebody without really getting any firm understanding of their commitment. I've mentioned this previously. Honest commitment signals in evolution and in human societies are expensive signals. If she really wants to know if that guy is really into her for her because she's charming, she's witty, she's intelligent, and yes, attractive, she resists his impulses to get her into bed, right? She witnesses him displaying some commitment in time and money and energy, takes her out on a few dates, gets to know who she is as a human being. And this would prevent a lot of this, feelings of exploitation and hurt. And undoubtedly, feeling exploited and hurt, she has a ready vehicle to weaponize. This is extremely damaging. And yes, I understand the psychology at work here, right? But no, the universities should not be dealing with allegations of sexual assault. Sexual assault, it's a criminal matter investigated by the police and if necessary, adjudicated in court, right? That's properly handled. Young man convicted in court of sexually assaulting a student, out they go. Now the balance of the assumption of innocence has been lost. It's been lost. They've been convicted in a criminal court with due process. Anyways, I talk about related issues of human sexuality and mating psychology in my book, Deconstructing Social Justice. I hope you will check it out. I promise you it's important, not because I wrote it. I wrote it because the issues could not be more important. Thank you so much for your time and attention. Bye-bye.